Hello and welcome to the University of Law. In today's video I'm reviewing this. It's Doctor Who Conflicts of Interest, our first 5th Doctor set of the year. It's also interesting because it's the first 5th Doctor set to be taking place after Snake Dance. So I think what they're doing is they're moving the 5th Doctor Tegan and Nissa's story on a bit. We've seen later with Turlough, we've seen much later when Nissa returns later in life, and we've seen earlier in the aftermath of the loss of Adric. But this is the first time we've kind of seen a little bit later, so it's nudged one story along, but it kind of just gives us a bit of breathing space that they've lost Adric, they've been reunited after he struggled alone with Nyssa for a bit, but now they're kind of settled back. They've gotten over the loss of Adric through their encounter with Mark, and here we are. And to be honest, we don't get much reprieve for poor Tegan, as I'll kind of go through as I review the set. So obviously we've got the cover art on the front, and we've got on the back the credits. We've got Friendly Fire by John Dorney and The Edge of the War by Jonathan Barnes are our two stories, directed by Kent Bentley. As always, we've got a nice little spine, and I love the lettering that they're using at the moment with the logo on the top. So if I get this box set open, again as always it's the same on the inside, just a sort of wider image there. Now if I open it up, we've got a little booklet which I will get for you now. Here we go, with some pictures of the cast in there and some blurbs. And on the back we've got credits. Most interestingly, we've got Peter Davison in his home studio in full costume as the 5th Doctor, fully in role there. So disc 1 is parts 1 and 2. Oh, we've got the 80s logo there. Yeah, it's parts 1 and 2 of Friendly Fire. And Friendly Fire was a great story. It was like a western. And yeah, as I've said a lot in my shorts reviews of the TV stories, what I love about this is the world building. The planet feels real. It is a western, but it's not cliche. Well, there's some cliche in it, but it doesn't feel cliched. It feels real and solid and immersive. And between the writing, the acting, the directing, you really do, and the sound design, you really do believe this planet, this society, this culture that lives there. And they're not just two-dimensional, there's a real history there, a real backstory. And the backstory is the story. And yeah, it's a really fun opening to this new journey for the 5th Doctor and his two companions. And it continues into parts 3 and 4. Sorry, part 3 I should say, on disc 2. Now disc 2 also has the honour of having part 1 of The Edge of the War by Jonathan Barnes that continues here on disc 3. So we've got 2 3-part stories over 3 discs. And here we've got some adverts for some other stories. We've got the 40 saga, we've got the Lost Resort, which kind of wrapped up the Adric saga, and we've got Wicked Sisters, which takes place right at the end of the 5th Doctor's life, long after these adventures are finished. So, The Edge of the War. Well, this reminded me very much of some Johnny Morris stories, such as, oh, I forgot the name of it now. It's the story, it's set in Stockbridge, Eternal Summer. It reminds me of Eternal Summer quite a bit. And it also reminded me of No More Lies, the 8th Doctor story with Nigel Havers. It had those kind of ideas of, you know, sort of that idea of country life, but also the idea of time being repeated, and, you know, people, you know, there's always parts in your life where you just wish that this moment in your life would last forever, and someone's trying to do that, but even more tragically, it's the moment before war hits this particular village. Nothing's the same again. And I particularly was interested in this story because my great-granddad, who served in the Second World War, was based near the Maginot Line. So it was a part of history that I know is quite obscure, but I did know a little bit about, but not an awful lot, and this really did deepen my knowledge of it, both through the story and as always through the amazing bonus extras on there as well. So it was a great little story. I enjoyed both of them. It was a really nice, and that's what I like about Doctor Who. It doesn't have to be big, grandiose, universe-shattering stories every week. It can just be these smaller stories which are just so fulfilling and enjoyable. And I look forward to seeing where they go next. I think this run is continuing into the next Fifth Doctor box set with Nyssa and Tegan as well, continuing these adventures on. But what was the standout story? Well, so I enjoyed both of them. But actually, the standout story for me was the interlude that was included as an extra, as a download. I don't usually listen to the interludes. I know I should, but I did this time because there is a character who's referenced but never seen in the first story, who's like an armadillo that the Doctor knows of. And included as an interlude is this adventure with the Fifth Doctor and this armadillo character. And I loved it so much I went back and listened to the other interludes from last year's releases. I think it was the 7th Doctor Ice box set, it was the first 6th Doctor box set, it was the first 40 box set for the 5th Doctor Eye Chameleon, is the one I'm listening to at the moment. But what I loved about it was it just the writing was excellent, the sound design was excellent, but most importantly, Dan Starkey, the 5th Doctor is very, very hard to do as an impression. Dan Starkey nailed it. He did the perfect performance as the 5th Doctor. At one point I had to pause it and check that it wasn't Peter Davison. But also he performs this armadillo wonderfully. The story is so well written, you can just imagine this archive, this library, carved into the rock. You can just imagine it's so vivid, it's so visual as a story. And it's so well written, so well paced, and it's just the most engaging story. It's probably one of my favourite Doctor Who stories of 2023 so far. I have to say, this interlude is just marvellous. But what I really loved about it, and I hope they're doing more of this with the interludes, is it does what Star Wars does a lot at the moment, which is it's a story that works on its own, but it adds more to what's already there. So you could listen to the interlude and enjoy it as a story on its own. You could listen to the first story in this box set and enjoy it on its own. But listened to together, it enhances the overall experience, the overall listening, engaging experience. And I hope there be more of it, because that's what made me want to listen this time. That's what's made me go back and listen to all the others. It's the fact that there's that interconnected universe about it. And I think Doctor Who, there's such a rich tapestry there of planets and worlds and characters. There's so much more potential to mine. And I'm so glad they did it here, and I thought it was wonderful. And as I say, it's my favourite story of 2023. What did you think of this box set? Did you enjoy it? What are your hopes for the next few stories with this TARDIS team? And as I should have mentioned earlier, Tegan does have a relationship while she's stuck in that time loop for a year. There are some repercussions there. She's been left behind. She's been left out for. She's had a whole year of life. And I want to see where that goes with the character next. That's how we ended the box set. Where's that going to go in the next box set? And I'm really looking forward to that. But what are your hopes? What are you looking forward to seeing with this TARDIS team? What did you think of the interludes? What have you listened to the previous ones? What did you think of them? Do let me know in the comments below. I look forward to seeing them. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to speaking to you soon.